Hey everyone, it's Iceland here, and I am back with another book haul video. It's been a year, just about. I think it's like a couple weeks short of a year, and my February went to shit for reading. It started off really high, really strong, and then just after. I will get into that in my reading wrap-up, but I want to generate some excitement for myself, and I thought, you know what, looking back at my videos, it's been like a year since I've done a book haul, and who doesn't like a good book haul? So I have pulled all the books off my shelf that I've purchased in the last year. Pretty sure I have purchased in the last year. There might be a few older ones on here that might even be in previous videos, maybe, not sure, but these are all the ones I remember purchasing in the last year. There is a lot here. Some of these were gifts. I'm not sure exactly which ones, because, you know, birthday, Christmas, stuff like that. And yes, if I buy books on gift cards, I still consider it a gifted book because they gifted me the money to go get the book. So yeah, anyway, I'm just going to jump into, well, my newest ones that have just been purchased here in the last couple of months, December, January, February, and then go into ones that have been on my shelf for at least 11 months. This one was a total cover buy. I love this cover. I am not normally a romance fan. This is going to be very interesting for me to read. It's a sci-fi romance, alien love story. That sounds so bad. It sounds, I mean, not the book bad. The book actually sounds amazing. It sounds fluffy and cheesy and, or at least to me, you know, it's an alien romance. I don't know how you're supposed to take that seriously. But you know what? It sounds like a really good time. So I was like, you know what? I'll give it a try. And between this cover and the cover available on Kindle, this is totally the better cover. So yeah, that one, this might even make it to my March TBR. I'm not sure. I'm really excited for the fluff, so we'll see. Now watch it turn out to be some silly drama or something. Then I picked up today Edgewood. This is a YA. Sounds like it has to do with like a cursed forest and its guardians, or maybe it's a cursed family guarding a forest. I'm not really sure. It has to do with forest and curses and family. Again, it was mostly a cover buy. I've been buying a lot of cover buys lately, so hopefully it's as good as it sounds. I mean, this is beautiful. It doesn't really show up on camera, but this cover is very shimmery, so that is stunning. I love that. This one sounds like it has to do with Valkyries. It sounds like it might have some romance in there. So it sounds like definitely a fantasy set in kind of the Norse mythology. It's 2 books in one, by, I think it's Between the Blade and the Heart and From the Earth to the Shadows are the 2 individual books that are in this bind up. It's just called Heart and Shadow. I like Amanda Hawking. Her romances can be a little cheesy, but we'll see. It's, I believe, a YA. I got it on the bargain table, so I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's a YA, because she usually writes YA. Then I am dipping my toes for the first time into Adrian Tchaikovsky? I think I'm terrible with languages. I really wanted to read his, what is it, Children of Ruin or Children of Time. It is incredibly hard to find. I should probably just order it on Kindle. There's Children of Time, Children of Ruin, but I don't know if I want to commit to a duology quite yet. I believe this one is a standalone. He writes adult sci-fi, This one sounded like it's got a little bit of a murder mystery, maybe kind of a Dead Space sort of feel. I'm not quite sure, so I'm going to give that one a try, see if I even like his writing style before I get into anything else. A.G. Howard, she is one of my, they are one of my go-to authors. I have read every book so far. I am not going to stop. The romances, they are primarily romances. I know I always say I hate romances, but I tend to like the romances that this author does. This is a chunker compared to their other books. But this, I think, has to do with Ice Queen retelling. Usually it's fairy tale retellings, like they've done Phantom of the Opera, they've done Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland, I think, was 4 books. Roseblood is Phantom of the Opera, and then there is another one that has to do with music, and I can't think of what it was called. I read it so long ago, I think of what it's called right now. And then this one, I believe, is a mix of the Ice Queen and maybe Beauty and the Beast. She always really twists her fairy tales up, so, and combines various fairy tales. So, yeah, excited for that one. Probably won't make my March TBR. The Woven Kingdom. I don't even remember what this was about. I know I read it when I picked it up, and now I can't remember what it was about. Typical YA fantasy. Clashing empires, forbidden romance, blah, blah, blah. This was another one that was a cover buy, but my local bookstore, Indigo, the staff there said it was pretty good. It sounds like it has to, again, do with an empire, but it's a little bit more political. There's some lies, and then, truth comes out. Typical premise for most romances, or not romances, fantasies. But it does look interesting. It looks like it might even be like a little bit of a Indiana Jones-ish. Like, it looks like there might be some treasures involved, stuff like that. So, yeah. Again, kind of right up my alley. This one, I'm actually quite excited for. This one has to do with an empire again, but it's the Princesses of the Empire. And there goes my phone. Ignore that. Anyway, they are sent out to marry off into other kingdoms, and there's politics involved with that, and what is their true sort of plan then, just going and marrying and looking pretty. So this one is quite exciting and might make my March TBR, depending how things are going. Another sci-fi. There's going to be a lot of sci-fi here. I've been on such a big sci-fi kick. The Cruel Stars, John Birmingham. I may have showed this one before. I've had it for like right around the time I did the last book haul. This is a first contact with aliens, adult sci-fi, looks fabulous. Back into YA. For someone who's trying to get out of YA, man, do I still buy a lot of it, but it all sounds so good. Another sci-fi, Other Side of the Sky. I do believe this has to do with like a city in the sky, and then like city on the earth, and shenanigans between the two. This one is another sci-fi, Dustborn. This is more of a post-apocalyptic type sci-fi. Again, YA. I do believe this has to do with girl's father, I believe, goes missing. Is it her father or her friend? Somebody goes missing, and basically they gotta go looking for them. This one has kind of been all over book YouTube. At least it was a while back. Down Comes the Night. Sounds like it's a little bit of a mystery, gothic sort of novel. So there might be some fantasy, or it might just be... It's hard to tell with gothic novels. I like gothic novels, but sometimes they can be really freaking weird. And other times they're just crazy people. Half Sick of Shadows by Sebastian. This sounds like a bit more of a King Arthur retelling. Don't really know a whole ton about it because I haven't really jumped into a lot of it. But yeah. And this one, I honestly can't remember if this is a fantasy or a sci-fi. But it's Bright and Pale by Jessica Rubinowski. I want to say it's a fantasy. Not sure. It's set in Russian folklore. I know that. Andy Weir, Artemis. I've heard this book's very polarizing. It's kind of one of those books that either you are going to love it or you are going to hate it. I'm curious to see where I stand. So I'm going to pick it. I picked it up. And yeah, but it's what I did kind of flip through it previously, and it looks like it's a very science heavy sci-fi, so it might have to be on a certain type of mood for that. I don't know. Excuse me if when I'll get to that one. This one's set in Japanese folklore. I believe it is a retelling of the Seven Samurai story. It just looks fascinating, and anything that is set, in Japan or Japanese inspired, I'm all over it. So yeah, I have a few of those on my shelf, which I actually should just sit down and maybe have a themed marathon with them. This one, another sort of gothic sort of story, Lake's Edge by Lyndall Clipstone. It's a YA. I do believe there's going to be some fantasy in there, but it is like a gothic mystery. Pretty sure these gothic mystery ones I actually bought for Halloween last year. Not really 100% sure. These next two go together. The Queen's Assassin and the Queen's Secret. The synopsis for the Queen's Assassin sounded amazing. So this one was right beside it. I just decided, you know what, might as well grab them both. I do believe this is just a companion novel. I don't believe it follows the same characters, but it might. So, you know what, I should grab them both. This one was a recommendation, again, by my bookstore. That was Kingdom of the Wicked. I did start to read this one. I think I got 2 chapters in, and I put it down because I was like, okay, this is one I'm going to want to binge read, and book 2 hadn't been out yet, and I knew was going to want to jump into book 2 right after finishing book 1. I'm really trying to do that, so that I stay up on series, because, man, I gotta finish series. And Kingdom of the Cursed is the second. And I believe the last name is pronounced Maniscalco. Carrie Maniscalco. She's always really popular here on YouTube. This one started off as a total cover buy for me, and then I realized book 2 was out, and it sounded amazing when I actually read the synopsis. The cover drew me to it. That is, no, this one's first. The Frozen Crown and the Seventh Queen. Do believe this is just a duology. It is an adult fantasy, and it has to do with a queen's, I believe, rise to power. Is it rise to power? Or a... Yeah, it has to do with a princess, particularly. Her rise to power and the things that go on with that. I am running out of room on my table. Excuse noise. Okay. Almost there. The last pile. I never counted these. I have no idea how many is here. Another one I started to read, got, oh gosh, several chapters in. Really enjoyed. but wanted to wait for the other two. I do believe there's 4 in total, but I wanted at least the other 2 books in paperback before I bought it. So the other 2 did come into paperback, so I did buy them. That is Ruin of Kings, Name of All Things, and Memory of Souls, and that is by Jenny. I don't know if it's Lyons or Lyons. And then there is a 4th book. I can't remember its title right now, but by the time I get those read, the 4th book should be in paperback. And I'm buying paperbacks because the hardcovers are massive. I bought this one, but then I've heard it's not that great, so I'm not sure what I think about it. It has to do with witches and a magical realm. That's all I really know about it. Sounds like it might be a bit more of an urban sort of fantasy than like your epic sort of fantasy. It's a YA. We'll see. I'm interested to see where I am. Alright, I had my eye on this one for a while. It says book 1, but I believe this was written several years ago, and book 2 has not come out yet. So, not holding my breath. But it's Undine's Tear. This has to do, it seems, more with like merfolk or some form of sea kingdom. Yeah, and the whole thing with that, it is a adult fantasy as far as I'm aware. That's where I picked it up, in my bookstore. Yeah. This is another one I'm really excited for, and it is Iron Widow by Ziran Zhao. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I'm so sorry. She's actually got a channel here on YouTube, and if you are interested in basically anything Chinese, she touches on a lot of Chinese culture. She explains a lot of Chinese mythology. I will try and find the link, and I will post it below, because I do quite like her content, and this is her debut novel, and I believe she's a Canadian, so gotta support those Canadian authors. They tend to get drowned out by everybody else. This one sounds like more of a Hades and Persephone. Can't English sometimes. Retelling. More so, though, not really with Hades, but with the ferryman that goes to the underworld. I don't know if it's actually set in that. That's just how it sounds to me. So, it is a YA. Again, it sounds like it's a bit of a romance, but it's kind of more of a romance. Like, I might be interested in a bit lighter, a bit fluffier. I like my romances one of 2 ways. I like them naughty, or I like them fluffy. I'm not really too much in between. And this sounds like it goes on the fluffy side. So, and then this one was another cover by, and then I heard a bunch of hype about it, and it sounds amazing, and that was Witches Steeped in Gold. If you are on YouTube looking around at books, you've probably heard about this one. It exploded, I believe, last year, or the year before. I'm not 100% sure. I actually didn't even clue in that this was the one everyone was talking about until I bought it, because I'm a clueless hermit. But I saw the cover in the bookstore and I was like, oh, that's really pretty, and I bought it, and then was like, wait, this is the book everyone's been talking about for like a year and a bit. So yeah, I very rarely am on social media, and I don't really pay much attention to when I watch book videos on YouTube, I'll be honest. I listen to them more than I actually watch them. So sometimes I will hear about books, but I won't always know what the cover looks like. And that kind is what happened with that one. And then I have been waiting for these for so long, and then they finally came on our bookstore, and that was the Rage of Dragons and the Fires of Vengeance. I do believe Fires of Vengeance has just come into paperback. I know I bought it last month before, and then Rage of Dragons was right beside it, so I picked that up. That has sounded phenomenal. It's put out by Orbit Books. It's an adult fantasy. That is as far as I got with it. I love just about everything Orbit publishes, at least the stuff that I have read. I've heard really good things about this one, so I'm just going to go with that. And maybe Evan Winter will be added to my must-buy authors list. 2 more. Oh my gosh, I'm almost done. Another YA fantasy, because of course it is. And it's She Rides the Storm. This sounds like a mix of, again, mythology, maybe with some like X-Men sort of elements. It has to do with a lot of magic, gods, goddesses. I don't know if it's like a retelling of any mythology. I never really looked into that part, but it sounds really good. The cover is gorgeous. It ended up in my cart. Whatever. This is one I eyed up for a long time. I'm not sure how I feel about it, and that is Dreams Lie Beneath. I keep wanting to add words to titles. The sticker's covering it up, but that is by Rebecca. One second here. I should be better organized. Rebecca Ross. There we go. There's the in cover. Oh, that was my receipt. Oh, when did I buy that? The receipt fell on the floor. Oh, that was last month too. Wow, I actually bought a lot last month. Anyway, this one sounds a little bit like a mix of maybe some Sleeping Beauty, but it's got to do with, like, might even be some werewolves in there, not sure. I know that I hummed and hawed over it because the cover was really pretty, but the premise was kind of overdone. Then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. It was on the bargain bin, so I grabbed it, and whatever. It is what it is. At the rate I've been going this month. Anyway, that's it. That's it. That is all I've got for a book haul. And that actually makes me very happy looking at these, because I love being surrounded by books. I need a new bookshelf so bad. I'm trying to empty out my bookshelves, and I seem to add to it every time I empty it out. Book buyer problems, I guess. Anyway, there is some light, fluffy, pointless content for you, and I will get back to whatever I was doing, and I will have a wrap-up for you a little later. Bye.